Welcome to the All About You podcast. Today's guest is captain of the Meath ladies football team, Niamh Shuilleabhain. In our conversation, we discuss the important role that football plays in informing our emotional well-being. If you find our conversation useful and would like to make the U project sustainable, you now have the option of financially supporting U on Patreon. That's YEW. If you don't think it's useful enough to financially support, I'd love to hear your feedback via Facebook, email or Twitter. Please get in touch. And now, here's my conversation with Niamh Shuilleabhain. So, Niamh Shuilleabhain, this podcast is all about you. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Oh, an absolute pleasure. Listen, I was mentioned to you before that you have set the record for the first guest that I have had on the podcast that I didn't know personally beforehand. So, first of all, I'd just like you to introduce yourself to me and to the listener who wouldn't know you.
Yeah, so in English, my name is Niamh Sullivan. I'm from Dunshaughlin. I play with Royal Guests in Dunshaughlin, and I've been part of the Meath ladies the last 2 years. I previously played with Meath ladies when I was about in my early 20s, so probably 18 to 20. I played with them, and then I just dropped off due to other commitments and probably lack of self-confidence in myself. So I decided to go back to my club. I studied in Maynooth, maths and geography, and then I went on to do primary school teaching. So I'm currently teaching in St. Chocman's National School in Dunshaughlin.
Brilliant, excellent. And you are a friend and a friend of former teammate Laura Gilson, who I had on before. So it was brilliant to link up with you through Laura. And I'm curious to know what your reaction was when you had a stranger ask you to record a conversation about your emotional well-being. What was your reaction to that happening, when I approached you?
I was happy to be asked, as a footballer you don't be asked to do many things, especially me, a footballer. So no, it was great, and after hearing Laura's story, to be able to listen to that, and it's amazing how you don't realise people that are close to you or playing to you that have issues themselves. But no, I was delighted to when you asked, and sure, we'll give it a go.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah. And so when I speak about emotional well-being, when I pitched you before, what springs to mind when you hear that phrase of emotional well-being?
Well, to me, I think it's more when, how would you deal with your emotions leading up to the game, and maybe the morning you get up, what kind of emotions are going through your body. I think you feel different in the morning of the game, personally with me anyway, and when I get closer to the grounds where the match has been held, it can be high emotions, nerves, especially, and then it can be a lot of tension, more tense. I think girls get nervous, trying to do their own routine, or kind of to get them ready for the game. So I think it's with me, emotional well-being, I always think how I feel leading up to maybe a game, or even training as well, if it's coming up to a important game, your emotions are running high because you want to perform well, to get onto that first 15. So that's how I seem emotional.
Yeah, I'm getting the impression that your life is very football centric.
Yeah, anyone that knows me, it's literally, my life is built around football, and it has been for a long time. And I love it. It's an outlet I have. Stress of work, especially working primary school. Last year I would have had a bit of a stressful year. I've had a big class, and they were challenging. So it was nice that I could go to training and just let off, steam, as they say, and release those, bad vibes, and kind of just clear the air, and, go to the girls. And you just, the minute you go in that gate to Dunganny, it was like you just dropped everything and you had the girls there. And the great thing about, playing with the football team is, girls just pick you up. If you're feeling down about anything, they'll find a way to pick you up, or will have it the crack. And it's a special. I think it's a special part to be. It's a special thing to be part of a team. And we often say we're like a family with the Meath ladies. We're all like sisters, and we look out for each other, and we really are. They are a special bunch, and I do love them to bits.
Definitely. So football is an outlet from which you can really express yourself, when you're having maybe trouble at work, or stressful life. And how is it that you can express yourself through the football? Do you think, you know, how do you get that catharsis from the negative vibes as you put?
I just think because, like, you know, I know our manager Eamon came on board last year, and you know, things were down in the dumps with us, and he just kind of, one thing he kind of said was like, the minute you come in the gate, I just want you to drop everything. Okay. Just drop everything, what's going on in your life, the minute you come in through those gates of the Dunganny. And I think a lot of us have done that, and you know, because I love the sport and I want to do well in it, you know, I just kind of forget about things, and I just think when you're out in the fresh air, you know, with the sport you love, with the girls that you really get on with, you do actually put things to the back of your mind. And you know, when you're preparing for big games, you have to unfortunately put those things out of your mind, so you can concentrate on the big game. But no, I think that what Eamon said the first day he came in, that is, you know, he doesn't want anyone, you know, worrying about things. Just come in and have fun, you know. And it was really important because, as I said, Meath ladies was kind of down in the dumps for a few years, and you know, we did need to get the enjoyment back. So I just think his statement that first time we met was really helped me to progress, and just, you know, to forget about things and, you know, in my personal life, and then just go out onto the football field and just express myself through my football. Nice.
So it sounds like it's a really effective escape from, you know, the professional and the personal life. So that's kind of put at the door. Like an idea that I'm often told of in, you know, in any sports people is that, you know, they get lost in their play, you know, and you hear people getting lost in their work, you know, they get in kind of like a flow state. So that's definitely seems to be what you experience when you're even training, isn't it?
Yeah, like you know, you have to be, so with the way the game has gone, so you know, this last few years, you don't have time to think, you don't even time to chat. Like, you know, we go there early and we'll have a quick chat in the dressing room, but the minute you're outside the dressing room and onto the pitch, it's, you know, focus, and you just have to be so clued in, because the game has developed, you know, so much that it comes into, you know, you have attacking plays, defensive plays, transitions from attack to defence to attack, kick outs, that you don't have time to think about what I have to go home and do or what I have to do the next day. Your mind is literally there, you know, listening to your coach, and especially if you have questions, you know, and a lot of times if we have questions, we'd have a little huddle and you'd have a chat about things, you know, so you don't have time to think about your personal life. And in ways people might think that's tense, but I think it's great, because it's gives you, like, for me, it gives me an outlet, and I just can, you know, switch off my brain for that an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I know even driving to training, I go with my clubmate of mine, and you know, I enjoy going with her to training because she actually cracks me up, and she makes, you know, she's just such a bubbly person, and we have the crack between the two of us, and we're just laughing the whole way to training, and then we do be talking about how training went and the matches coming up, so you're totally switched off from your personal life. But I find you don't have time to think about anything outside of football when you're at football.
From my perspective, like you said, I'd be probably in the camp of thinking, wow, that is so intense, you know, to think about all the tactical side of things as well as the physical side of things. You mentioned earlier how, let's say, if you're feeling a bit down and a bit crap on a day, that like the girls pick you up, and you give a great example of just on the way to training. How does the team support each other? Like, what sort of relationship do you have with your teammates in that regard? Or is it football exclusive, or, you know, do you have kind of a different relationship as well?
Yeah, no, it's not just, well, at the start it probably was football, and then we've just developed really good friendships. Like last year, you know, we won the Leinster, and, you know, it was the first in 17 years, and we did celebrate. But like, it was great. We kind of had, you know, we've had barbecues, and we've sometimes gone bowling. There we had, like, a few of us went off. Now, like, some girls, not everyone could go to these things, because obviously girls have work commitments, and that's fair enough. But the majority would go if they can, and we'd have had go to the beach after training. I know there recently, before one of the games, I think it was before our league final, you know, you wouldn't be going out of a Saturday night, so the two girls, Kate and Orla Byrne, organised a barbecue or a get together in their house, and we had, like, just food, and it was just sitting around outside. It was a lovely sunny evening, just sitting outside having a crack. A few of us had hurleys, so we were booking around. A few had a football, so we were kicking around, and then the girls live on the farm, so a few of us went down into the farm, and it was great that it was outside football. And right, it kind of took our mind. It was great to have because it took our minds off. We had a big game coming up, like it was a league final. It was probably the first, I think, 16, 17 years again or something before that Meath contested in the National League final. So girls were nervous. So it was nice to put that side of things, that we all could meet up together and just talk about our everyday lives and really have the crack, like.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we have built friendships outside of football. Like we do meet up with each other, and we have a WhatsApp group, and you'd be a bit of slagging going on in it as well. Like, so no, it's really good crack. And if you always go into the dressing room at training, there's always some jumping around or having the crack or laughing. There's always laughs in the dressing room. You'd never see anyone down. Like if someone is down, they're always picked up. And it's fantastic. They're a great bunch to be part of. And
it sounds like you function very well in that high intensity environment. Obviously you're a school teacher. That would be anathema to what I'd be capable of. I'm kind of more function better and maybe more laid back environment. Like I wouldn't be able to survive with 20 screaming kids in front of me. And then obviously you have the intensity of the sport. So what I picked up from what you're saying there is like football is a fantastic kind of escape and a distraction from personal professional life, and then the relationship with the teammates outside of the football is kind of a distraction from the intensity of football, like leading up to a big game. So it seems it's one thing I haven't placed much thought on before. You just mentioned there, but there's great utility and kind of useful and effective distractions. Like you have very healthy distractions in your life, which kind of take you outside of some of the stresses. Like, so would it be fair to say that would be a coping mechanism?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think like everyone does have stresses in life, and I'm lucky in the sense I have my football, and even I have I play camogie as well. So with regards to my camogie team, they're the most laid back team, and they're a great bunch, and they're again, if you go out there, they're so appreciated when you come, like, because with being county, it's very hard to train with your clubs, whether that's camogie or football. So to be appreciated, it kind of gives you a good feeling inside, and it makes you want to play the sport more. But I'm lucky that I can deal with those stresses when I have them, that I can turn to my football. Also, I like, my family would be very supportive. Like, in fairness, I'm very lucky. They support me up and down the country wherever I play. Like, and even that extends into my my mum's family and my dad's family. Whether if they don't go to games, they're always asking me how I get on. Like, and they'd always wish me good luck before big games. So it's great to have that network of support around me. It really helps. And
getting back to something you said in the beginning, you played with Meath and when you between kind of 18 and 20, and you took a little bit of a break. You mentioned you lacked kind of some confidence. Would you mind kind of sharing what that about that time in your life and what it meant to leave and then to come back again? What were the developments?
I think I was 18 at the time, and I remember I was in college, and I got called up, and kind of unexpectedly, because I took a year out. I was with the minors, but I took a year out the year I was in the Leaving Cert, and I got called up, and I was thrilled. And Gordon Weldon, who actually was my club manager last year, he was actually over the team, and he called a few of the younger girls up, so it was fantastic to see. And I really enjoyed it. The older girls really welcomed us on the panel. Then the next year we got a new manager, and things went well again. I was happy with my performance. I was starting majority of league games, performing well in league games, and it just came to the championship and I just got dropped. Maybe because I was young and maybe inexperienced, I don't know. Then I just started to kind of not liking the game, and would go back to my club. Couldn't get past players where I'd normally get past, players. Just couldn't do any of the things that I was able to do. And I think from being at county training and just not getting those championship games into me, really knocked my confidence. And I remember my mum and dad, because I was young at the time, and going on holidays during championship, I was afraid to tell the manager, and I wouldn't tell him. So my mum and dad went up to him in the 6th game, we're going on holidays, and he practically said, that's fine. So when I heard that, I was like, well, I'm not in his plans for later in the championship. And I kind of sat long and heard with my mum and dad. And I kind of, my club coach at the time was Sean Walsh, and he actually said it to my mum that like I was suffering, you know, self-confidence. I wasn't the player I was. And, you know, mum and dad, you know, sat me down and kind of said like, you know, maybe it's not for you this time. And I kind of had a feeling myself from when he said I could go on my holidays that I wasn't in his plans for the championship. So I just decided to take a step back. So I took a few years out, got my confidence back, and was playing well with the club. We won the intermediate in 2016, better rivals than mine, which was great. And then I got a phone call. I think Diana Hoare was over the team, but I suffered a serious injury with my shoulder, collarbone. It was the second time I broke it. And I wasn't sure if I needed an operation, and I was, you know, she asked me to come in, I think towards the latter end of the championship, and I just turned around and I said, well, I was only recovering from my shoulder injury, and I just didn't feel it was right to walk in on a team. It's just not me. So I declined the offer, and I think as well I was a bit hesitant because of my injury. I broke it the second time, and I was kind of really nervous going back, and I was kind of waiting until the season was finished, and then I was going to go back in the new year. So then it came to the following year, 2000, and so I'm playing 2 years, 2016. I got a phone call from the media manager, Owen Hennessy, to come in. So I gave it a go, and it just picked up from there. And then Eamon came in there last year, and you know, things were ended up there 2016, but Eamon came in there halfway through last year and really lifted it. So I'm glad I took the bullet and went in at the time. I was still hesitant, so I asked my clubmate Niamh Globally, who is still involved with the panel, and she said it was, you know, good. You know, we started well in the league, but then it just spiraled. You know, a few girls were going on J1, so we were just losing players. But I said I'd stick at it, keep at it, and then we got new management, and you know, I wouldn't look back, I wouldn't turn back now. It's fantastic, and you know, captaining me to the Leinster last year was a personal highlight.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeez, and I don't actually think we've mentioned yet that you are the Meath Ladies captain, of course. I suppose a few questions about the captaincy. You know, what sort of a role do you have in the team at large? Like, obviously, I'm sure you're involved in the tactical stuff, and you're maybe a bridge between the management and the players. But you know, and on the emotional support side of things, like do you employ any tactics with your teammates to get to understand each other better off the field to try and inform your performance on the field? Or? Yeah,
like, you know, you do have a few girls, you know, we have a group there, and you know, I am captain, but I have a great vice captain, Moira O'Shaughnessy, as well. And this year we actually have a group. It's a leadership group, so it consists of about 6 to 8 players. Yeah, I'm captain, but I think there's all leaders in the team. I think you can approach any one of us. You know, if there's like a few girls might text me and just say, ask for advice, and I'd have no problem. And I've said that, you know, if girls ever have issues, you know, approach me, and if they can't approach management, or maybe they don't know what to do, I'll approach the management for them, or I'll approach management with them. I am the link with the management. You know, we would be in communication a lot on a daily basis regards, you know, tactics, but also regards players' welfare, and you know, is everyone all right? And yeah, no, like it's hard. Captaincy, it's great. You know, I'd be quite quiet. I can go quite quiet. Like, you know, when I first got picked captain, I was quite nervous because I was like, I wasn't long in and the meet set up, and I was kind of like, geez, I'm just walking in here and getting captaincy. And I kind of said it to a few girls, and they were like, you can be a captain in different ways. They were like, you know, you might be as vocal, but you're showing it in ways, maybe by talking to girls quietly, you know, on a one-to-one basis. So as last year went on, I kind of got a bit more confident in my role, and yeah, I'd say the girls find it easy to approach me, and you know, I often drop girls a text. I know we were playing Wicklow, one girl was devastated afterwards, and kind of felt she lost the game because she misplaced a pass, and I took her to side at the end. I was like, no way, like, it's a team game, we lost as a team. You know, after trainings we all shake each other's hands. I kind of make sure we go around circle, make sure I shake everyone's hand, even in games at half time, giving someone a pat on the back to keep them going. And try and be vocal throughout the game as well. But like, as I said, yeah, I'm captain, but we have there's a load of leaders on the team. Everyone's a leader in the team in my eyes. And so, regards that, any player is approachable if you're in need of their help, or even a chat just about something. Maybe it's about work, home life, or just even about your game, what you're doing wrong, or anything like.
Yeah, and I think for anyone who's paying attention, people should be paying attention to the Meath Ladies team. Like, you are all role models for sporting women, and women who are trying to get into sport at the moment. Like, in terms of the work ethic you guys put in, and the dedication you have to both your clubs and the county, and just, I suppose, the lifestyle you're living, I'm sure, like, these are very, very active and very, very healthy people. And I know we were speaking at length before we recorded about kind of all the different factors that have kind of come into the game into the Gaelic football over the past couple of years, and you alluded to how good the WGPA are at supporting the players, and just curious to know how do they do that?
Yeah, so each team has 2 reps, so usually it's the captain and another player, and for us it's myself and Niamh Lister. And every year we go to a rep day. It was held in Carton House this year, and we have a WhatsApp group as well, and they just kind of make you aware of what the association is about, what kind of helplines they have in place, also graduate programs. So it's not just for the mental side, they're all for the academic as well. And even supporting clubs or county teams, sorry. If you're going through, maybe, I know, like, at the moment Mayo ladies are a bit at bother, and they're stepping in to give them a hand to sort things out. So it's great to see, and they often put up like the helpline numbers, for people that might be suffering mental strength. As it is growing, it's growing in our society. It's becoming more dominant. So we're they're trying to encourage maybe girls to seek help. So you'd often get a text message from Gemma Begley. She's over to WGPA and the football side. She'd often send a message out, and just with the numbers, so you just send them on to your team, and just make girls aware that there is people there if you're in need of help. And they're a fantastic association. They've got funding from the government. Like last year we got $8,000, and that's going towards, like, it's not towards your gear, it's towards like food, and maybe you're finding it hard to get a pitch and you have to pay for a pitch, so like lights, because they're all expensive. Recovery, so like doing pool sessions, ice baths, and all that. So like they have grown the last couple of years, and that funding's grown even more. But like they help in a lot of ways, and I think we're so lucky that we have them on board, and that if we're ever in need of things, that the girls can look to those helplines, or in regards if there's fixtures overload or there's games clashing between the camogie and the football, you can go to WGPA and ask them, could they maybe talk to the 2 associations, or give you guidelines on how you deal with things. Or say, for instance, there's maybe management's not working, or you need new management. They'll offer advice in any way they can, and they're always there, like at a blink of an eye. Because I was just looking in, researching, I can't remember what it was, but I went to the WGPA and they had it back within a few days. So yeah, no, they're a fantastic association. They're like the men's GPA, but except the women's. But we're also they're trying to link in with the men's as well, to make it, try and work together and trying to treat it as one.
Yeah, of course, what makes sense.
Yeah, support each other. Yeah. So no, it's brilliant. And even the rep days you go to every year, you learn something new. I think we had, the first year I went, we had Niamh in the Offaly footballer, and he spoke about his mental health and about then his business, and like it was just amazing to hear his side, and to make people more aware that there is help out there. And it's great for us, and it's great to inform every panel about that help.
And you mentioned the helplines, and not necessarily in relation to like a number or something specifically in football, but just curiosity, or if you feel comfortable answering, like, has there been a time in your life where you went out and seek help with with someone in your network, or maybe in school or something, with any personal issues you were struggling?
No, I haven't sought any help. If I have, I haven't had any serious kind of issues to deal with, but if I have small little issues, I'd go to my parents. But then, yet again, that's different when, if it's a bigger issue, you might find it hard to go to your parents. But no, I haven't had the experience to ring any, use the helplines at the WGPA. But I know if I ever needed a help, I know from just being, at the rep days and, listening to, Gemma and Aoife Lane just talking that, and they're always promoting that they're there to help in any way they can. So, if I ever had an issue, I definitely would be using their services, because, it's a great organisation, and, it's great to see the ladies having an organisation like that.
Well, I think the key to me in what you've said there is that although you haven't needed to seek help in the past, you have the confidence to, I suppose, seek it in the future should such a situation arise, which, is, I think, when generally speaking, maybe I'm doing some people a disservice when I say this, but we will all encounter sincere difficulty in our lives, and sometimes it's impossible to kind of go it alone, and what's required is the confidence and the courage to be able to either speak to a helpline, or confide in your parents, like some confidence in your life, be it your parents, your immediate family, friends, or teammates, like so. It's brilliant to see that fantastic you haven't suffered to that degree, but that if you do in the future, you have that outlet and you have that confidence. I think it's most of the battle, if anything, because I think when people are struggling, one of the biggest things about their struggles is the fact that they are kind of inhibiting themselves from coming forward to speak to someone that can help them, and then obviously the emotional issue that they're experiencing is just perpetuated. So it's clear the utility of the GAA in your life. Like, it seems to be an absolutely fantastic outlet, and kind of moving more towards the teaching side of things. We're just curious to know, has anything from the GAA translated into the classroom in terms of your teaching approach? Is there anything that you any lessons from the GAA that you try and inspire in the kids in your classroom, or do you see that those two worlds are separate?
No, there's plenty of links. Like, I know, I used to hit summer camps there for a while when I was in college, and it gave me a bit of an insight, because I wanted to go into teaching, and it just gave you an insight into there is kids there, and since when I was in school, there's so much learning difficulties, special education needs in society now compared to when I was younger. They're more identified now. They're more recognisable now, whereas years ago they weren't. There is certain things you bring into class, obviously, outdoor extracurricular activities, PE, that just totally, they overlap, because games is one of the curriculum areas that you teach, so you're going to teach your the GA skills from regards classroom management. Yes, some things, depends really on the class level you have. If you have a high class, I firm believer, you might do a bit of shouting in the GA, and that in class I wouldn't be into that. You just kind of speak at level tone to the kids, and there's certain areas that would link, but I think more links with GA for me and school would be the more sports side. Of course, yeah. I wouldn't see with my classroom management or that. Now, like, I'm lucky within my school, because I play with Meath, a lot of them follow me, and they show me a respect, and they're very keen in that, asking me about, so that would be another link I'd have with the kids. They'd ask you about your own sport, and especially because I work in the local school, and I played with the local club.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them would be down around the clubhouse and again asking you how you're getting on. So yeah, there is certain links with the GA and school, but I think it's more in the extracurricular activities and more in the sports side. Yeah. For me anyway.
Yeah, well, you strike me as a very, very confident lady. So I was wondering, like, would that mean, I'm sure you are a double role model in that you're a teacher and you're an elite athlete as well. So they're going to aspire and mirror a lot of your actions in many ways. So like I'd say although kind of declaratively speaking, there you're thinking it's the sport, but I can only imagine in your classroom that the confidence that's been inspired in you, which you've gotten from the GAA, is having a really positive effect on the kids, because kind of when I reflect on my time in primary school, like it's and going to secondary, but I suppose more relevant to yourself in primary, it can be an emotionally intense time, and there can be kind of almost anxiety and fear in the dynamic between a teacher and a child, and it's daily to hear from you that you don't go down the kind of sort of old school traditional shouty route. You're speaking to kids kind of on their level, which would definitely been something that I would have responded best to, because without that the teacher becomes this kind of inhuman monster, and whereas when you actually chat to them, you're like, oh, this is a person just like me, except older and bigger. Yeah,
no, you're right. Saying when you stand up in front of the kids and they're staring at you, it is daunting. But as you the days go on, the weeks go on, you get more confident, and probably standing in front of a group on a pitch situation in a huddle, be able to speak to them like they're like adults. You probably do interlink in that sense. Like speaking to kids is probably a lot easier than speaking to your own teammates. And
it's funny, I would experience the opposite. Yeah. So I would be probably shitting me pants in front of a group of kids, but in front of your peers,
yes, well, it depends on certain kids. Then kids as well, but no, usually a lot of them you might be lucky. Because some kids are just so outgoing, and they'll test they'll test you by trying to shout out and things. So when you start out, when I started out teaching the first while, it was kind of try and get that confidence standing in front of the kids, because they're all listening to you, they're all looking at you, and they take in everything you say, to remember everything you do. And like if you say something, they'll hold you to it. So if I say to my class, oh, maybe tomorrow we'll go outside, they'll hold me to it, they'll remember everything. So yeah, probably that sense would link up well.
And then it's total change of direction now, from school and from football. Just kind of getting back to the whole idea of this podcast being all about you and your emotional well-being specifically. Just on reflection of over your lifetime now, what have been the most emotionally salient experiences you have had? Be they moments of extreme joy in a relation, or kind of being in the depths of despair and sadness. Are there events that strike you as particularly relevant in terms of forming your character and who you are today?
Yeah, a lot of, recently, or in college, winning the All-Ireland was like a really highlight, and a week later I was 19 at the time, and I captained my Maynooth team. I was quite young in college, captained the Maynooth team to the first college to win the Giles Cup. It was only a new competition entered. And then a week later I had an under-19 club final against Clonmagale, and we won that, and that was just amazing. And I was captain on both occasions, so that was just wow, and I was on cloud 9. And I remember at the time my nana was actually very sick, and in Monaghan, and I got to bring the 2 cups up to her. She had a stroke, so she was she was coherent, but she was the left side was paralysed. But to have that chance to bring the 2 cups up was pretty special. So that was a really proud moment. And then another proud moment was again a club moment. I was 2007. I was only 17, and I won my first adult championship with club, and then 2016 we won it again, and so I wasn't the captain, but it was another proud moment, winning another adult title, because they don't come around easy. And as I said, we bet them wine, and it was a cracking game, and we always have great games against them. So and they were probably favourites going in. So, and we were 5 points down, and to come out and to win, and the crowd. And I remember after the final, my clubmate Gemma lifted me on her shoulders, and just to see, and there was a swarm of kids from school and shout my name, and then I got player of the match, and then they were shouting my name again, and that was just an amazing feeling, to have the whole community there, especially a girls team, to be supporting the girls team. So that was amazing. Now that year, towards the end of that year, it was tough. We got to the Leinster semi-final. I got sin bin in that game. I was distraught on the sideline. Now it was debatable yellow card in my eyes and my management eyes, but anyway, I got yellow card, and I broke down in tears in sideline. 10 minutes is a long time without a player, and girls did so well to keep to keep going, but for Ban, we were playing for Ban, and it was down in for Ban, and we had great support. And when you've just that, you feel like you've let your team down, you feel you've let your family down, and you've probably let yourself down. Anyway, I had to kind of dust myself down. The management were like, you need to, actually, they actually never came over to me. It was a family friend, Eamon, who was out across the fence, and he called me over, and he was like, he said, don't worry about it. Look, nothing you can do now. Dust yourself down. Your team needs it when you go back on. And it was nice to hear someone just, get that bit of confidence back in you. So I went back on, and, we were unlucky. We lost by a point. And, at the back of my mind, I always had, if I didn't get sin bin, we could have won. So that was really hard to take. It ate me for a few weeks, and I'm the very person that when I'm in bed, I would replay games in my head, and I'd kind of like, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? It's like a video analysis going on in my head, and I've kind of got better with that now. I don't do that as much. But yeah, that was quite a sore point. In 2016, especially, we were never that far in the Leinster campaign, and it was something new for the club, and we were so excited. There was a great buzz around the village. Everyone was getting behind us. The lads were even getting behind us, and just to lose by 1 or 2 points at the end, it was devastating. And then with me sin bins, it was that extra pressure. I felt that we lost because I got sin binned, and it's hard to take. And even I see girls nowadays getting sin binned, it's horrible. They think they've let the team down, but unfortunately, sometimes they might have to commit a foul, and take one for the team, or sometimes they're usually hard done by. But that was they probably did both.
That's the intensity of the sport. And you mentioned how after that sin binning, for weeks you were distraught, and you were having that video analysis playing in the forefront of your mind. But how if an event like that occurs, when events have since occurred, that it's less intense, and so wondering how did you develop that kind of resilience to no, it's not worth it. Did you make any conscious efforts, or did you use any tools, or was it just something that with experience it just dulled?
I just kind of there's no point dwelling on the past. I think it's very much trying to look the present, the future. With regards to that side, with me now, we've been video analysis, so you kind of see it, and I look at it, and I just let it go, because you've so many more games now, you don't have time to dwell. Back then, I think it's just I dwelt on it so much because I went to the Leinster final then, and the team we played won, and you're kind of saying we should be there. I think when I went to that game, I was kind of like, I can't do it. I went to the game, it was kind of like as if I got a closure on our semi-final, and I just was kind of going home that day from the final saying, right, we should have been there. And I think my club, I think Niamh, my clubmate, was with me as well. And I think two of us were like, we just have to forget about it now. can't dwell on, and just different things she said as well to me, and I just decided like I can't play games over and over my head because it'll just eat me inside and probably knock my confidence. So I just kind of learned to develop, look at the game, do your video analysis. With me it's obviously easier because we can watch it. With club, I just have a quick think that night. I used to go home and kind of talk to my parents about it, but now I kind of stopped that. We might have a quick chat, but that's it. So I kind of cut things down and just try and push them aside and focus on ahead. Because I just think if I kept doing what I was doing, I don't think I'd be as I think it would have kind of ate me inside and would have knocked my confidence, and I would have been back to square one where I was like those couple of years ago. So I think just talking to club mates and kind of maybe going to that Leinster final in regards to my club when we lost the Leinster semi-final. I think by going to that club final in Kinnegad, it did help me, and it kind of made me realise, look, maybe we weren't a better team, maybe it wasn't my fault. And then you had your club mates saying, it wasn't your fault, you couldn't do it. And management did come up to me at the end, and that kind of, and they did speak to me a few weeks afterwards because, I was kind of annoyed about it, and they were like, there's nothing you can do, you were harsh, you were hard done by. So to kind of have people reassuring you, helped me a lot as well.
Yeah, I think two things come to mind. It seems to be putting the adage that your manager, the new manager with Meath, said in the beginning of the year, putting that into practice, kind of. But at the end of it, at the end of a session, at the end of a game. So when you enter the pitch and when you enter Ngani, or it's just football. The rest of your life is left outside, and then kind of when you've left, you might have a brief chat with your parents. You might do a brief analysis chat, or you might have an analysis in the changing room. But then once you've left, football's gone, and it's back to your personal life and your professional life. So
and I've
be able to compartmentalize that.
And I've brought that, I think, to club as well. Last year and this year, that not to be dwelling on games, like sometimes the girls, they can go, oh, we bet such and such team, and I'm like, that was a few weeks ago, that we can't be dwelling on that win or that loss. We have a game to focus on. So I found that the county team has helped me in relation to when it comes to games. We watch them and that's it, you put them to bed, and every training session after a game we have a huddle in Meath, and our manager or coach Paul would ask us what were the positives in that game, what were things to improve on. And I like the way he never says negative, he always says what things can we improve on, or what things can we do better. So that's kind of another thing that you kind of think I kind of bring to the club. Maybe I could have done that better, or maybe things went well, and you're trying to bring them back to your club as well. So it's great to have that experience with the county and learning new things, probably new tools, you could say, and then helping bring them back to your club and kind of your club players, so that your club players are not dwelling on maybe wins or losses, that you can move on as collectively as a group to focus on the next game. Yeah,
it seems like you're kind of very I don't know what the right word is, industrious isn't the right word, but very effective in putting not only yourself but your teammates at club level in a kind of effective frame of mind in terms of how can we improve, as opposed to kind of dwelling on maybe what went wrong, because the utility in that is not too great. I can in terms of reflecting on great victories, that can fill you with a false sense of security and kind of negatively affect your performance in the next game. And if you're reflecting on a terrible loss, that can increase your stress and again potentially negatively affect your upcoming game. So it definitely seems like you're able to leave the past where it is, and not try take precautions and measures so that doesn't affect your future performance, which is is translatable not only to a sporting lifestyle, but to everyday personal life and professional life, because there obviously we have to learn from our mistakes, but there isn't much utility in dwelling only on the past and dwelling over a mistake we made and what was the outcome after making that mistake back then. Well, the outcome has happened then. Not dwelling on whatever happened won't change that past outcome. So it's kind of on to the next one. But unfortunately, that's often easier said than done.
Yeah, it is. But like, the club girls, they're fantastic, and again, it's hard for them because you're away for so long of the season, you know, with your county team, and you know they don't see you for weeks with training, and then you go back in, you know, for a week or two, and then you have your championship match with your club. But they're so respectful, and you know, I'm lucky to have a great club that I can go back and the girls will be asking how was county, and a lot of them will come and support me in my county games. And we have developed, you know, like we had a championship match there 2 weeks, or was it a week ago, and we suffered a heavy defeat, like, and we're just girls on holidays and girls just injured and that. So, but you know, we were just saying, we had a huddle afterwards, we're like, you know what, it doesn't matter. We knew that we have 4 games left, we're still in with this. And you know, that's the great thing about them. They're great because they just, you know, like myself, we have decided that, you know, there is no point dwelling in the past. Like, you have to focus on the next 4 games. Like, we want to get into the semi-final, that we can't be focusing on the last assignments down, even though we didn't like it and it was a heavy defeat, and you know, we haven't been beaten by that much in a long time. So it has knocked confidence, but like, the girls got back straight to training on Tuesday, and you know, that's what you want to see. And even afterwards, the positive messages that went in our club WhatsApp was great. And likewise, you have it in the county as well. Like, you know, we suffered a defeat. A lot of people would say shock defeat in the first round in Leinster, and you know, this year it was knockout. We were shocked ourselves. Possibly we took the game for granted, and we felt deservingly winners. But you know, we came back Tuesday. It was heavy. It was rotten to come back Tuesday. A lot of us were gutted after that game in Wicklow. We couldn't speak, but the girls came back, and the reaction was literally unbelievable. We just did everything 120%, and even the coach was like, that's the reaction he was looking for, because he did say he was afraid, you know, girls, you know, he didn't know how we'd react, because it was, you know, we really wanted to win that game. We wanted to retain our Leinster title. So no better way than showing it on the pitch, you know, that we're here to win in All Ireland, that our season wasn't over. So so teams that I have been with, you know, I've learned from them, they probably learned from me, and that, you know, it's better just to push, you know, them games aside, and you know, it's all about that reaction the next day. How are you going to react to that loss, or how are you going to even react to that win as well?
Yeah, and just lastly, touch upon something that's totally in contrast to your own experience with Gaelic football. I know you mentioned how your confidence took a massive knock when you weren't getting game time, which is ironically kind of the opposite experience what I have when I was playing football. Like, I wouldn't be the most talented Gaelic footballer in the world, but I thoroughly enjoyed going to training, and would have gone to all the matches and never expected to be on the pitch. And it's funny, it was, I haven't really been able to relate that to, I haven't related with anyone with that, because everyone really wants that game time. And my confidence was just in kind of being able to, I know, hit somebody a big shoulder and trade or something. I'd be happy out with that. Like, you know, it's just a totally different level. But on from that, like, another aspect of my own character is, I kind of on a day-to-day basis, I'm constantly verbalising my own thoughts in my mind, and I have my own inner monologue, and you know, sometimes it's kind of punishing, and you know, I'm kind of questioning what I'm doing and what I've done, and you know, at myself, and sometimes might be giving myself a bit more confidence. But what I was curious to know is what's your inner monologue like? What sort of relationship do you have with your own inner monologue? And then secondly, do you find your inner monologue? Do you find yourself speaking to yourself when you're playing in a game, or do you find everything kind of very naturalistic?
Another time I might go, like, for God's sake, what were you doing there, Niamh? But the thing you might, the great thing about it, if you talk to yourself, the girls will be like, right idea, keep going, Niamh, and you don't have time to think on the mistake you made in the game, because you know, I know with me, like our manager, you know, because things haven't really gone the way we wanted this year, you know, we have been playing well, then we haven't, it's been up and down. He's like, you know, telling us to go out and play with a bit of a risk and see how it goes. So like, he doesn't mind if we make mistakes, and to hear a coach say that, it's nice, you know. Like in training there, I gave a pass last night, and I was kind of like, oh shit, like, and you know, he didn't say anything. You know, it's about the idea was right, It just didn't come off. And the girls, you know, I think it was the Kicking States, and she was like, oh look, Niamh, right idea. And it's nice when you have your teammates, you know, say that to you, encourage you. And it's likewise with your club. You know, in the forward line, I have one girl like Tara who's played with me like the whole way through up, and she knows like if I'm maybe missed a few shots in my head and might start to go down, she knows just to say the right thing to me and get up, you know, get my head up. It's the same likewise. I work with her, like she would be, you know, a few shots, you know, might go wide for her, and you can see your head going in, and I'd be like, just come on, T, keep going, well able, next one. And I think, you know, not all the time I'd speak to myself, and not time, but I find lately a lot of players around me are the ones that be like encourage me, and you know, would say, you know, to say keep going and use kind of positive words. And that's what we're trying to, I know, build up in the county setup, that like, you know, it's positive feedback to girls, or you know, it's not all about quantity, it's just quality words you use. So whether that's well done, keep it going, right idea, next time, it's all those words. And you know, I'm lucky in the club to have like, you know, Tara beside me, who I played with, you know, right up when we were under 12, right up till now. And you know, I know like I can read her inside out, she can read me inside out. So it's nice to have a player like that beside me in the field, especially at club level. And we do work well with each other, and we do encourage each other. So yeah, at times I would speak to myself, but I find lately it's the players around me that are the ones that help me a lot.
Brilliant. And very last question, what would you say to your 20-year-old self who's just after getting the big knock to your confidence in terms of Meath football, and you're in two minds as to whether to keep going to train or to take a break? What advice would you give to yourself, knowing everything you know now?
Yeah, I just would say, like, you know, just keep plugging away. You know, things unfortunately don't come easy, and especially as, you know, I was a young player, you know, just keep doing simple things right. Maybe you could, like, if you're doing, you know, maybe talk to the management. Like, I didn't talk to the management, you know, because I was a bit, like, I couldn't even tell them I was going on holidays, like, so to have that confidence, you know, to approach the management, maybe ask them, what can I do to get on the team? So to encourage that person to talk to the management, but most importantly, you know, just keep at it. And you see the likes of, you know, Rena Brookley, Breach Corky, they're retired now, but like the likes of all those big players, you know, the words they often say is just like, you know, keep going, don't give in, you know, keep trying, keep training, practice outside of training if you have to make yourself better. Just never give up is the simple word. I think never give up, and try, if it's your dream to play, you know, you will stick at it. Like,
Brilliant. Niamh, this
podcast
is all about
you.
you.
That's alright.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Cheers.